Namaste.
Namaskar.
My name is Adi Narayanan, and I worked for more than 10 years with Amrita University. First as a professor of information technology and later as a professor of cultural education. The transition was because many of my past students actually came back to me not with technology related problems, but more in terms of life challenges. Because we taught them how to face computer science problems. But who teaches them life problems, how to face them? So that's where, as Smriti ji rightly pointed out, what is required is access to excellent education. And excellent, as Prabhuji was rightly trying to point out, what is the Indianization of that? If I could introduce, is it in terms of multiple dimensions? Because Indian system always looked at a holistic education, where multiple dimensions, right now we have reduced all those dimensions into just pursuit of excellence is just one very micro level pursuit, and that is what qualifies for excellence. Is that excellence that Madam, you're pointing to, or is it in terms of multiple dimensions where other dimensions which help us face problems? For example, I'm a teacher of Mahabharata. Using stories from the Mahabharata, I try to inspire students and also give them specific practices from the yogic system, because I've also been a practitioner of yoga for more than 25 years. I've seen clear-cut abilities of critical thinking, analytical thinking, even speech processing, so many aspects getting enhanced by these practices. And hence, Indianization, could it be looked at in terms of broadening the scope where multiple dimensions are introduced in our educational process? And is there a challenge if we approach it from this perspective?
I think it's also about who delivers the message. Like you rightfully said, now you're an academician. If you talk about bridging technology and spirituality, if you talk about teaching structural engineering and also how to engineer a better life, you and your dialogue will be more palatable than somebody like me, possibly, who, though I wear a very off-white sari, but I'm stamped with saffron. So it's also about who's conveying the message. I think that I take your point very rightly, that it's about having multiple dimensions to education, but also not having an individual restricted or held hostage by one dimension. And these are the doors that need to be opened up, so that people do not feel that they are subjugated to education, but their education is subject to their desires and their liking.
So I'm basically interested in, what are the foundations we need to do in schooling so that we can develop these intellectual people in the long run, because what we have seen in the institutes is that by the time they're 12th pass out, they don't have the kind of foundations to really build on to really fight this. I want to know what could be done at that level.
Yeah, I think one of the biggest contributions that our traditional knowledge would bring is to the education system and make students more imaginative, able to think for themselves, not just product of a kind of an industrialized education. We have an industrial factory-oriented product. And this is a big topic. But I'll tell you, there are people inspired by Sri Aurobindo, for example, who are producing new kinds of education systems that are worth looking at, that are more based on the Vedic model. So some experiments are going on, and you should look into that. We can talk about it offline, but I've gone into that field also to see how traditional education can actually produce smarter kids.
And therefore, I think we need now a new textbook committee set up by some very eminent experts. I would advise the Government of India to ask a person like Rajiv Malhotra, who is presently based in the United States, to head it, and write down the syllabus that should be really there in the books that should be written, and